Lightning fast, you might think the leadership of a major church is above courtroom drama. Well, think again. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the corridors of power, Bishop Drew Sheard has officially filed a lawsuit that has left many church leaders reeling. This isn't some quiet procedural filing tucked away in a docket, this is bold, public, and shaking up the very structure of a major denomination. Believe it or not, in the world of church leadership, legal battles like this happen, but almost none get this kind of attention. You'll want to stick around, because we're about to walk through exactly what triggered this, who's involved, why it matters, and how things may never be the same. Coming up, what sparked the suit, the fallout behind closed doors, how it affects the people inside the pews, and what could happen next. It all started when Bishop Sheard, already serving as presiding bishop of Church of God in Christ, COGIC, decided he was no longer willing to stay silent. The suit reportedly names other high-ranking figures within the church, and the fact of the matter is, when a top bishop sues fellow leaders, alarm bells go off. Many insiders describe it as unprecedented in recent memory within COGIC. Even more surprising, this legal move comes despite the traditional preference for internal church conflict resolution rather than public court filings. So the question becomes, what pushed Bishop Sheard to go this route? Was it a matter of principle, power, reputation, or all three? Reports suggest that the lawsuit centers on allegations of defamation, leadership misconduct or cover-up, and internal dispute over authority. While the full documents haven't been made public in all respects, background material from earlier lawsuits in COGIC involving internal disputes shows a pattern of bishops clashing over decisions, transparency, and control. For Bishop Sheard to bring this to civil court suggests he felt the internal mechanisms weren't enough, or weren't trustworthy. That directly places this lawsuit not just as a personal grievance, but potentially a message to an entire leadership structure: things must change. The ripple effect among church leadership has been immediate. Some leaders reportedly were caught off guard, describing the filing as shocking and a game changer. When a presiding bishop sues, it signals that normal channels of leadership are being bypassed. Imagine the usual chain of command inside a church: the board, the jurisdictions, the advisory bodies. Now imagine that chain snapping in favor of litigation. What does that say about confidence, trust, and direction? It raises questions about governance, accountability, and whether the institution is heading toward greater transparency or greater fragmentation. This isn't just internal drama. For ordinary church members, pastors, and local congregations, the fallout could be profound. When the vision holder of a denomination sues, it may lead to divided loyalties, confusion about leadership, and uncertainty about the church's future roadmap. Think about this: faith institutions rely on unity, trust, and shared mission. A public lawsuit isn't a quiet disagreement, it's a fracture line in the foundation. If a leader is willing to take fellow leaders to court, how does that affect morale, membership, giving, outreach? The stakes are high. Meanwhile, some observers are pointing to statistical data. Nearly 50% of Americans say trust in religious institutions has dropped in the last decade. A headline like this could reinforce that trend, or possibly force an institution to reform to avoid further decline in trust. This lawsuit may become a catalyst for change, or a warning sign of deeper trouble. But here's the kicker: with all the drama swirling and leaders scrambling, there's one revelation that very few are talking about yet. It could alter the perceptions of motive entirely. In just a moment, I'll share exactly what that hidden detail is, and why it might flip the entire narrative. But first, let's look at how this played out behind closed doors. Behind the scenes, meetings have been called. Some jurisdictions of the denomination reportedly requested emergency sessions to assess the damage. In one instance, a bishop said he felt blindsided when the news broke, suggesting the filing wasn't part of the normal internal communications. Then there are whispers of settlement talks, of mediated conversations, and a possible domino effect of other legal challenges. If Bishop Sheard's suit opens the floodgates, we could see a series of filings that revolve around questions of authority, finances, resignation of leaders, or structural reform. On the member level, there's unrest. Some congregants are asking, is our ministry safe? Which leader do we trust? What will this mean for our local church? Because when big leadership drama plays out, the local church often feels the tremor. And for pastors under the denominational umbrella, this could mean tough decisions. Do we stay aligned? Do we wait? Do we shift? Furthermore, consider the external perception. Donors, partners, media, they all see this headline. One major columnist said, "When faith leaders litigate each other, the message isn't just conflict, it's dysfunction." The lawsuit thus functions as public testimony about deeper issues, not just a private dispute. So here's the hidden detail. One of the alleged key players mentioned in the filing was reportedly one of Bishop Sheard's longtime associates. The twist is not just that disagreement arose, but that what seems like personal issue may actually reflect a broader reform agenda inside the denomination that Sheard is pushing. If you think this is about reputation only, think again. According to insiders, this legal move may be part of a drive to change governance, accountability, even selection of leadership in the future. That means the lawsuit isn't just drama, it might signal the start of something very different inside the church. Which leads us to ask, will others follow? We've seen how Bishop Drew Sheard's unexpected lawsuit has caught church leaders off guard, stirred deep questions about leadership and transparency, and potentially changed the game for a major denomination. Now you're left with this: when a top leader goes to court to challenge his own peers, it's a sign that the old rules may no longer apply. That's not just news, it could be a turning point. Here's your call to action: keep your eyes on how the story evolves. Watch for responses from other leaders, governance reforms, or even a cascade of similar suits. Stay ready, because when institutions rooted in faith enter legal battlegrounds, the changes that follow often impact the very core of identity and mission. If you find value in staying informed when faith leaders make big moves, take a moment right now to share this with someone who cares about church leadership, accountability, and the future of faith institutions.